I don't look this hot for just anybody.
Anna, you already gave me a song for the end of the show, and I was looking it up.
Great. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
Multitasking. Over there.
You know, look, I mean, I try to,
does.
I'm producing, I'm the star. You know, I do the whole thing right here. I'm a
right.
show. And that's what Mike Rowe, look, I was on Mike Rowe's show a year ago.
Yes.
Almost a year to the date. And Chuck called me up again. Chuck spoke to me back. Chuck Klausmeyer, he's also on the Mike Rowe show.
Is he the Anna of the Mike Rowe show?
Yeah, but he doesn't chime in as much. He's the producer that Mike bounces stuff on from time to time. And he and Mike grew up together, and they're good guys. And Chuck got in touch with me back, I want to say mid to late January, early February. And he goes, man, you were such a hit on the show last year. We want to have you back.
Great.
Do you have anything? And I said, Chuck, when I was on the show the last time, both you and Mike said to me, I can't remember if it was on the air or off the air, because we stayed on the conference for another almost hour after the show.
Right.
And I said, you guys were saying, oh yeah, we want to watch Fat, a documentary, your first movie. And I said, guys, that's the one that kicked all of this Vinnie can be a documentarian thing off.
Right.
Right. And like, yeah, we're going to watch that. So Chuck calls me, he goes, man, you were a big hit. And we want to have you back on. What do you have? What's new? And I said, well, did you guys watch the first documentary? Because look, even though this documentary is a few years old now, if you haven't,
they're evergreen.
Yeah, they're evergreen. It's brand new news to you. And he goes, you know what? Let us watch it. I'm going to tell Mike to watch it and the whole thing. And he says, look, I'm calling you now, but we have so many people in front of you, so many people we have to get to, because of Mike's work study, scholarship thing, and all this kind of stuff they do. He says, but come, later in the year, probably summer, we want to get you on. We just want to see your availability now. And I got not a call, I got an email from Chuck about 2 weeks later. And he goes, hey, we're doing everything in our power to move you up the schedule.
That's so nice.
Mike wants you on right away.
Isn't that nice to hear?
Look.
We're so used to hearing the opposite or just nothing at all.
Right.
What a nice phone call to get.
We want to move you up in the schedule. We're trying to figure it out. We have all these other people to do and all the obligations and everything. They moved me up. They moved, look, they were trying to move me up to last month, right 1 year after. And in a conversation with Chuck, God, I wish I hadn't thrown this away. Maybe it's here. Hang on.
Did you tell him about all the Robies who've lost weight in the past year?
I mentioned Robies to him back in January. And he was like, what's a Robie? And I said, oh, you guys aren't familiar. And he goes, I don't even know. What is this word you're saying?
Right.
I explained what a Robie was, and I explained the Facebook group. And I explained. So, and I said, look, some of these people have lost over 100 pounds. He goes, you're kidding. I said, yeah, just because you and Mike had me on the show. And he goes, how many pounds do you think people lost overall? And I said, well, that's impossible for me to come up with. But I did come up with this. I called Megan Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
Foxy. And I said, Megan, I don't want to cook these numbers, but can you give me somewhere near a number? Now, here's the thing you have to know, folks. People consume what we do here in several different ways. Some people join the Facebook group. That's the smallest thing. I think the group has 30,000+ people in it.
Mm-hmm.
And, so there's that. And then there's my email list, which is pretty substantial.
Right.
And then there's people who just get the PDF. There's people consume me in different ways. So I said, Megan, what do you think? She goes, on average, from the people that have talked on Facebook, because they let in like 3,500 people or so.
Right.
And when they asked, how did you get here? It's Roby, we're Robies and the whole thing. but we couldn't substantiate that number. I said, can we take a number as a sample? And we came up with 300 people.
Okay.
Some people lost 120 pounds, 90 pounds, some people
Wow.
10 pounds and this and that and the whole thing. So we found a mean score. In science, a mean score is a medium,
Right.
an average. If you have a bell curve, you cut the top of the bell, that's your mean score. So out of 300 people, we figured average 70 pounds a person, but that sounded high. And I said, what about people who might have not lost any weight or maybe gained weight? So just for the hell of it, we moved 70 down to 50 because I wanted to be on the conservative side.
Mm-hmm.
We came up with 15,000 pounds just on those people.
Great. Love it.
And then we took a very conservative, we kept the 50 because maybe the people that sign up for my newsletter and this and that, some might lose more, some might lose less. We don't know.
Well, there's a lot of people lurking who never chime in. Yeah.
And look, I talked to a lot of Robies on the phone call, 120, 150, 85 and the whole thing. Okay. So I said, I'm going to keep that 50 number since it was 70, but we moved it down to 50. And I can't tell how many people are actually Robies anywhere else. So we took 30,000, right? Even though the number is probably closer to 50 or maybe 70,000. I said, let me just take 30,000 times 50. That's 1.5 million pounds that we can easily say was lost. And as I told Mike, it could easily be double that because I took a really, really low number.
Right.
Can you imagine being on one podcast and being, letting the guy who had that podcast be responsible for helping us help people lose at least 1.5 million and maybe as much as 3 million pounds?
It's amazing.
It's crazy, right?
And helping people get off meds, helping people
I went down that
play
road
with their kids, helping people get out of the house, helping people want to wear, getting to wear smaller clothes, just all the benefits that come along with it.
Well, as I told Mike, I said, the number of people who have gotten their A1Cs below 5.6 and gone off of all drugs is pretty amazing. The number of people who told me they never thought they would ever run and they're running 5Ks and 10Ks. And as we know, there's people like, the
Stallion.
White Kim, who can
White Kim.
Yeah, she's now run a half marathon.
Yep.
Right. And we have, all these people, now we have Scott King. He's looking at doing an Ironman distance.
Yep.
And as I told Mike, I said, when I get on the phone with these people, they'll say, doctor told me, we took all these fertility drugs. Doctor told me never get pregnant. We started eating right and I'm pregnant. I said, Mike, you're probably responsible for more pregnancies in this country than anyone else. Just to make, I have it all written right here. I had to write it down because, and look, the numbers are probably higher. Who knows how many people Mike has been responsible for impregnating?
I want to hear what you guys talked about, but I also want to say, to direct people to some resources. The last Mike Rowe round of folks, we did NSNG 101. So if you go to the search bar on Vinnie's site and type in NSNG 101, we basically went through your PDF and described NSNG, the 101, and we did a couple episodes about that.
Anna.
So I would say folks need to go back and listen, or we probably need to record some more because we're going to have another influx. Right, it's never a bad idea to have a primer, a reminder.
Here's a thought.
Okay.
Because we're still 2 weeks ahead because I'm going to have to travel again.
Right.
How about, this Friday I have a doctor on. How about we record a Friday PDF 101?
Okay.
Just like we did before next Friday, because that show is going to come out when we'll put it up next Friday.
I love it.
Have something to listen to.
Great.
And I'll even put a header on next Wednesday's show and say, look, if you're listening to the show for the first time, the Friday show is going to have all the information you need.
Great.
Sound good?
I mean, your PDF has all the information too. So I've just
right.
strong recommend for you folks to download the PDF. It's $10. it'll be the best $10 you ever spent on
Yeah.
your health. I
Yeah.
promise you.
You know, yeah, just go do it.
Yeah.
Just go and do it. Before we move on, Villa Capelli olive oil, the best olive oil on the planet. Folks, listen, stop it. I'm just begging you now just to stop it.
It's too much. It's too much.
On the phone calls, I get the Twitter, I get the people, I might be talking about something else on Instagram. It's like, do you know of any other olive oil besides Villa Capelli? How about you just get the best olive oil? Now I'm getting mad during the ads.
Don't get mad. Don't get
This
mad.
oil, folks.
Well, they've been sold out for a few weeks. So now it's going to be back in stock. And in fact, I'm going to text. Well, I guess it's nighttime there.
Listen, Villa Capelli is the best olive oil on the planet. Because we do so well with this podcast, we keep selling them out in the United States.
Which, by the way, don't fall asleep on it when it gets back in stock. Go to the website right now. If it's not back in stock, put your email in there.
Yeah.
And pounce on it. I'm not kidding. I'm down to 1 3-liter tin. And I'm very upset about it.
I have 2 750 milliliter because remember they were down to.
You're in worse shape than I am. Then you only have 1.5 liters.
I have a 3-liter tin. I have 2 750 milliliter tins.
Well, now that's an embarrassment of riches.
So I got what you call like 4 liters of Villa Capelli.
Yeah.
But we use it. We just made a porterhouse, a 2.5 pound porterhouse. As a matter of fact, it's going to be on my Instagram tomorrow. And you want me to show you what you can I show?
Let me see. I'm making a ribeye and a New York tonight with the barbecue dust.
Let me plug in. Let me plug in what we have here, folks. Again, if you're new to the show, Anna Vocino makes these incredible sauces, and she also makes this powder. And it's the only way I'll eat my meat. Sounds weird.
Yeah, rub it in your meat.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Yeah.
This is what's going on my Instagram. Tomorrow, I think I might have to turn something up here. Let me try that.
Tonight we are having this amazing porterhouse steak.
Look at that thing.
The filet mignon. I get it on sale at Harris Teeter for $9.99 a pound, which is really good value. This in a restaurant would cost you over $100. Rub it in a little olive oil. Get some of Anna's fabulous barbecue dust.
Which is back in stock.
Rub it on. Vinnie likes a lot, so I go for it. And I'll put that on both sides. And then I will put a little olive oil in the cast iron pan, heat it up till it's just before smoking, and you can only hold your hand over it like this, and you feel the heat, you have to take it away, and then sear it on either side, cook for a few minutes, and then wrap it up in, I use aluminum foil, or aluminum, as you say here.
Thank you, Serena. Thank you.
And you must let it rest for half an hour. And then you slice it against the grain and have it. We've got broccoli and some berries. Stay motivated.
Yes, stay motivated.
That's how you do
By the
it.
way, my friends now who follow you, and one of them is a vegetarian. He loves you. And he's my friend Paul, the cyclist. And they will see me now and they'll be like, stay motivated. I'm like, that's not my phrase. That's Vinny's phrase. Save it for Vinny.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
I'm a stay motivated guy.
They love it. It's catchy.
She's eat happy kitchen woman.
Stay happy.
Stay happy.
Doesn't quite work. Not quite.
Well,
the same.
you know, my sign off for my other companies, because I don't think people realize this, but purevitaminclub.com, purecoffeeclub.com, and NSNG.
You don't say stay motivated for all of it?
No, I say on those, enjoy.
I think you should say stay motivated across platforms, across companies.
You think?
Yeah, I do.
My thing, right? Stay motivated.
You guys tweet at Vinny and myself at which one you think he should do. I think stay motivated because it brands you because you're the motivational guy. You're helping keep our fitness brains going.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's coming up tomorrow.
And by the way, I loved your post about how you decided to wear your heart rate monitor to mow the lawn.
Yeah.
And then you saw you were in high zone 1, low zone 2, which you're basically doing zone 2 exercise. And that isn't it ironic that we pay to go to a gym? We pay a guy to come mow the lawn, and then you pay to go to the gym to go do zone 2 exercise. I love that.
Coddington always loves this phrase. I've always said, if I went to a third world country and they say, "Oh, where are you from?" United States. And the guy from the third world country goes, "Well, tell me something about the United States that I wouldn't know." And it's like, well, you can go to a place and you walk in and you can do manual labor. You can walk on treadmills. You can get on these stair machines that assimilates walking upstairs. You can
Oh,
lift,
God.
you
We
can
sound
lift
so
heavy,
dumb.
you can lift heavy objects. They even have things that you can push, these sleds you can push across fake grass that's in the building. You're not even outside.
You're not even outside.
You're just pushing, like it's like a lawnmower. You just push this thing is much heavier than a lawnmower. And they'll go, my God, how much do they pay you to do such a thing? It's like, hang on. You have to pay them for the honor of going in and doing that manual labor, for lifting back-breaking weights and running up and down fake stairs and getting on. By the way, you know how you have a bike and you get on your bike,
Mhm.
it's the only conveyance you own. And
Right.
that's how you get to work at the fish factory or whatever. Yeah. We have bikes and we don't even
Hold on.
put a
Wait for
wheel
it.
on them. We don't put wheels on them. It's like, no wheels on your bike. How do you get anywhere?
No, it's just a
That's the
chain part and a
point.
fan.
That's the point. We like to sit there and pretend we're going somewhere. It's like, well, doesn't that get boring?
No, hold
No,
on.
it doesn't, because we put screens on there that looks like the countryside. So you never actually get anywhere. You can actually, we're so rich and we're
Hold
so
on.
dumb.
We're going to make it worse. I actually have 3 of those bikes that I could get on to go through the countryside, but I'm not going to get on any of those 3 bikes that we own.
No.
I'm going to get on the one that's stationary and ride that one.
Yeah. That's the way we rock and roll here.
Yeah. So technically I have 4. I have 4 bikes, but the 3 that actually are used as bikes, I don't use them.
And we have candles, and they will go, of course you have candles. How do you see when you walk around your house at night? No, we don't use them for that. We use them to make our houses smell like anything except our house.
That's true.
It can smell like
I did
vanilla.
it this morning.
It can smell like pine, because we're not going to walk outside and smell the pine. We're just going to light a candle. It's like, no, wait a minute. You're not using it to see at night so you don't stump your toe? Nah, we're good.
I can't remember which comedian was like, we have all this fresh water. What do you do with it? Well, we piss in it and then we flush it. And then he's like, fuck, I wish I gotta want to credit this guy. It's like, wait, no, hold on. No, I take a shit in it, then I flush it, and then I piss in it, and then I flush it. That's what we do with our fresh water. So
Yeah. But it's crazy. It's just crazy the things we do here. And I've always said, if we can just, talk to we should start a thing called Third World Country Guy, where we just, every week I'll come on and say something we do here that Third World Country Guy wouldn't understand. Like flushing the toilet. Think about it.
I know.
Fresh water is the biggest problem around the world. Fresh water.
Yeah.
And
it's a huge problem.
if you would, like,
But
let me
we
give
are
you
very
another.
lucky to have indoor plumbing.
Third world country
very
guy.
lucky.
All right, so Third World Country Guy. I'll drive him over to Vegas. It's like,
Mhm.
listen, we're in a
Here's a
desert.
city that shouldn't exist.
This city only exists because we pump water. Now, there are other places around Vegas that they can't get water, but we pump water in here. It's like, why do you pump so much water in here? Well, you see those big fountains gushing up into the sky? If you gush water into the sky, it evaporates
Yeah.
at an alarming rate.
You need a lot of water.
We're trying to get this water that we brought to this desert out of this desert as fast as we can. So instead of just letting it sit in a pool, we gush it up in the air.
Yeah. We want it to look
evaporates
cool. That's
1,000 times quicker.
Like a fountain that only goes a few feet in the air, that doesn't look cool. We want the fountain to go really high in the air so it looks cool.
Not only look cool, Anna, but you want it to, looking cool is one thing, but think of all that area of water as is going up in the sky. That area causes more area to evaporate.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
That we're
lot.
wasting. It's a waste.
And look, you see those guys over there at that hotel and they're in a gondola and they have Italian clothes on?
Yeah.
No, they're not from Italy. These are guys that flunked their bartender's test. This is what they're doing. This is their job. They would go nuts. People would go nuts. But yeah, we're so rich in this country that we have to go to a gym and pay someone else to do work.
Right.
Right. And that's the point I was trying to make with my
Yeah.
30-second post. So,
So what did you talk about with Mike Rowe? Oh, by the way, if you want to get Villa Capelli olive oil, use the discount code Vinnie, VINNIE. You'll get 10% off your order each and every time. Just get it. We've already established that. If you get a certain threshold, you'll get qualify for free shipping. So we always say try to shoot for around 140-ish bucks.
$145 will definitely get you free shipping after the Vinnie.
There you go. VINNIE. That's
Yeah.
how you spell Vinnie when you're spelling Vinnie Tortorich, not with the wimpy Y.
Yeah.
10% off each and every time. Okay. What did you and Roe talk about?
Oh, we
I know
got
we
into
talked about
this
going
and
to
that.
Italy. Yeah.
We talked about, they were enamored with the movie. And
Great.
he had questions.
Me too.
Folks, we're talking about a movie I put out. What year did I put that movie out? 2018?
2018?
Yeah. This movie's 5 years old now.
Or was it 2019?
Somewhere around.
Because here's why I say that, because you did the second one in the middle of pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah. And he asked about the second one. I said, look, we had so much footing and I was sitting around during the pandemic that we had time to put together another movie and we
Right.
didn't have to pay a team to go and record it and, sound and all that kind of stuff. It was already done. Right. And we just had to color match it and sound correct. And then we were done. And the movie, here's the thing. Mike saw this for the first time and Chuck saw it for the first time. They were interested in all of it. They
Great.
talked a lot about Jim Abrams and
Mhm.
Charlie and the Charlie
They
Foundation.
should have him on their show.
We talked a lot about, he was very interested in the Oprah thing, the fact that I
I'm
lied
sure.
to Oprah. And he didn't tell me what he goes, we have that in common. He goes, I also lied to Oprah. I don't know what he lied to Oprah about.
He didn't tell you?
As it turns out, Mike did say to me, I think he said it during the show, maybe after the show, he goes, we need to hang out.
Yeah, you guys would be
the hang out thing now. And I think we both think that because I felt that way after the first show because we're the same age, me, Mike, Chuck.
Yeah.
And it's all the same reference points and everything else. So we have a good time when I do the show. And he said, he goes, when you did the last show, you did tell me, oh, I will be back on your show. And he says, I thought that was a bit of hubris. And he goes, but here you are. And I said, well, Mike, let me tell you something else. I'm going to be back on again. I have another movie coming out. I'm working on a movie right now. And if you think Fata Documentary was good, and by the way, folks, when you watch my movies, it's not like you're not watching the latest version of the movie. You're watching completely different movies. The first two movies, the movie and the sequel, Fat and Fata Documentary 2, those movies were the first movie and the sequel. When I did Beyond Impossible, it was a complete break from the first movie. It was a different subject. We were talking about the fake meat industry and what they're actually doing.
Right.
And now the movie I'm working on now is a break from those two ideas to this whole other area of fitness that needs to be exposed. And I will never
wait.
Anna knows what it is.
Yeah.
Everybody that knows what it is chomps at the bit. People even ask me, they'll go, have you done it yet? Are you doing it? Where is it? How far in? What did you put in it?
Yeah. How far do you have an ETA?
Still writing it. I'm going to be recording my bits in June. And then we're going to start pulling it together, me and my team. And that's when the hard work starts.
Right.
It's easy up until I do all of my part. And then, the editing and all that starts.
Are you doing interviews and stuff? Like, is it same like Talking Heads interviews or?
I may or may not.
Okay.
I may have a couple of people, I'm not going to just throw it to Talking Heads the entire time. Because the one thing we learned in my last movie was, and Dr. Drew was the first person to say this. He goes, I'm glad that you kept yourself in it more, just explaining and then showing something, which apparently works better, especially when you have someone like Serena who can narrate the part you need narrated, right? So it really kind of works. So I'm going to keep going. That model is not broken. I'm going to keep using it.
Great. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up, I went to Italy for 10 days and I just wanted to bring up some observations. First
Okay.
of all, I did not see Stephen Crutchfield, which bummed me out. We actually went north on our trip because I always go south and see Stephen, but I couldn't this
What
time.
was the reason for the trip?
So Lucy's living in Italy on a painting residency for the year.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to take advantage. Plus, my next cookbook is low carb Italian. And while I had already turned in the manuscript, I wanted to make sure I got any additional inspiration for, bonus PDFs. So I have extra recipes. And sure enough, I just got notes back from the publisher. I need to tweak on a couple things, take some new pictures and do, all, how the process works.
Please tell me that you spent time in Florence.
I've been to Florence a million times, so I did not go to Florence. Here's what the itinerary was.
The meat, Anna, the meat and
Oh, I got plenty of meat. Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about me, honey.
Okay, I'm a little worried.
So here's the itinerary. We flew into Rome. Next day, took the train to Venice. Spent 2 days in Venice. Went down to Bologna. Bologna, by the way, has the hams. Okay, just saying, the hams. Met Lucy in Bologna for the day. She took off back to Rome. We got a car and went to Tuscany for 3 days. And then we went back to Rome, drove back to Rome and stayed there for 3 days. So it was a whirlwind, and you know how hard it is to get there. So you really want to maximize your time.
Yeah.
Now, when we stayed in hotels, they always have an American style breakfast that's included. So it was really easy to get, bacon, meat and eggs. And they have plain yogurt, but it's always low fat. And they would have some berries, but I don't really like fruit for breakfast. So I didn't really go there. But it was easy to get that kind of stuff for breakfast. They obviously have, you order un caffè, which is a espresso, a double espresso, but they call it a coffee. And you can get a cappuccino, but don't get one after about 11 a.m. It's considered gauche. You want to keep your cappuccino before 11 a.m.
See, I don't really drink cappuccino, so
it was fine. I mostly had the cafe, the espresso doppio.
Yeah, so, I do espressos all day long.
And it's great, and I love it. Like one day I was like, I really just want like a big cup of coffee. So I ordered an Americano, which is just the espresso when they put the water in it. And it's still like just that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just different over there. It's just less. So the other thing I noticed with the hotel, they always had a ton of, pastry. They call it cornetto, which is basically like croissant pastry, and paste, which is the plural of pasta, means pastry.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then you go out, if you go to what they call the bar, and the bar has cappuccino in the morning and alcohol in the evening, and you stand and you order it alla banca. If you sit down, you have to pay a cover charge. If you stand and just drink it, you just pay the €3 for your thing and you're done. So the thing that I noticed being in the countryside, especially, and observing Italians, these people are not afraid to have carbs. They do their espresso and they have their little pastry or a little sandwich with ham on it. And that's their breakfast.
Right.
But Vinnie, I bet you're wondering how many overweight Italians were there?
Well, if you talk to people who never go to Italy or France, they will talk about how skinny everyone is. But I spend time in those countries, and depending on, I got to be more honest, depending on the area, I find that Northern Italians are heftier, more weight than Southern Italians. That's where you see more of the blonde hair, blue-eyed Italians. And they seem to be a bit more zaftig.
I have to say, my observation for 10 days, I saw zero overweight Italians. And I was only with Italians other than having breakfast in the hotel.
Now, even like the old grandmother with the babushka and the whole thing?
There might be a couple extra pounds, but it's not like everyone was like rail thin, but there were no...
I didn't say fat. I said, if you
said zaftig means heavy.
Yeah, but
zaftig literally means blimp. So
okay,
zaftig to me means heavy.
Okay. I meant if you're going to see any weight, you're going to see it above Milan. You're going to see it up there.
Interesting. More the Germanic side. Well, again, this is just me observing, and I'm sure somebody else going would have a totally different experience. And being in Venice and Rome were probably the most touristy places that we were. And I will say, these are not places of accessibility, which is kind of a bummer, because if you are in a wheelchair, or you're going to have a hard time getting around, because they just literally don't have accessibility. In Venice, you have to carry your suitcases, through all the winding roads and up all the bridges with the stairs. And so I'm not quite sure. And that kind of bummed me out, because for accessibility purposes, it would be really tough to be able to see this gorgeous gem of a city.
Right.
And I'm sure people work it out, but I'm just saying, I was looking for things like that when I was there. Even the tourist population, it was interesting. I was like, this is a place where you need to walk around and be able to be ambulatory, to be able to see things. So that's always loaded right there, because we want everybody to have accessibility to see these beautiful places. But what I was mostly concerned about was just watching people eat. And we were places where there were only locals. Like, that's where we were. And so it was very interesting to observe that. And then I did a little bit of Googling about, the rate of type 2 diabetes, because I was like, these people are not afraid to eat carbs. And in fact, when I brought up keto, they thought I was nuts. They were like, you're nuts.
Let me jump in, Anna. I want to jump in here.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the deal. And I always tell this to people, and I used this on Mike Rowe show the other day. When people are not metabolically broken, you can enjoy some carbohydrates, but once you've punched that metabolic,
I'm getting to that.
I just want to be sure that we stay on that, because people go, well, these people are eating carbs. Yeah, we used to be able to eat carbs in this country also, when you're not eating Lucky Charms for lunch and breakfast. And
I'm getting to that. Let me finish.
Go on.
So, I'm taking this in, and I'm finding it very interesting. And also keep in mind, I'm coming at it too from a place of having food restrictions, for lack of a better word. I have celiac. So if I'm going to put life into living, I have to make sure it's gluten-free. Well, in Italy, they test every child before the age of 6 for celiac. They have awareness of even when I was there 15 years ago, everybody knew about celiac and gluten-free. Like, you could be in the most remote, and we were in my town where my family was from, the most remote hilltop town. In fact, the second language that they spoke was not English, it was German. Like, it was such a World War II throwback place.
Yeah.
But if you said, because I said to the guy, this is 15 years ago, I'll have a salad. I said this in Italian, I'll have a salad. I sono celiaca, ho bisogno di mangiare senza glutine. And he was like, I have gluten-free pasta. Like, what's wrong with you? And like, he was like insulted that I thought that I had to eat a salad for lunch when everybody else was enjoying a nice pasta. And I actually was okay with it, because I'm used to doing that. And this is before NSNG, before we started the podcast. And I was just like, I loved how insulted he was that I would order a salad and just assume that he wasn't prepared. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I will say this. So I'm going to get to the whole, food quality, all that stuff. So ordering over there, it's an interesting thing. Like, cause I told you about my California chicken cafe experience a couple years ago when I walked in, and I was like, hey, I wanted to get this salad. It's just like chicken on salad with some vegetables. I said, hey, just want to make sure there's no croutons or bread. That's how I usually ask for things.
Yeah.
Right. I don't try to get into the whole gluten and cross-contamination thing, because it's going to fall on deaf ears. Yeah. So I say, hey, I would just like the salad with the thing and the thing, and just making sure. And she's like, our chicken's not gluten-free. And she started giving me attitude. I was like, oh, it's chicken. She's like, there's gluten in it. And I was like, okay, thank you for telling me. I was like, do you have anything on your menu that's gluten-free? And she says, no. I was like, okay, cool. Thank you. And I left. So she made her point clear. But that kind of an attitude is something that I receive a lot. And I think for a lot of our people out there who are trying to make the adjustment to low carb, you kind of got to tiptoe around and be like, hey, can I have this? But please don't put the fries on the plate. If you don't mind, can I have a green salad, and don't put croutons on it? And you feel like, you figure out your way of ordering things, so you're not. In Italy, every single person is like so accommodating, and so, because they care about food so much. So they're like, oh, you want it a certain way? The chef would love to do that for you. We want you to be happy. It's such a beautiful, like, they take such pride and care and hospitality. It is it's mind blowing. how different the attitude is and how you're not shamed for wanting to have a thing a certain way. You're not like high maintenance, you know what I mean? And it's kind of nice. So, and by the way, some of my feeling high maintenance is something that I put on because I don't want to be a pain in the ass. I know how hard servers work. I know, you know what I mean? I don't want to be a dick. So anyway, so I start looking at breakfast on the different prepackaged little toast, Melba toast things, you know, that they serve, the jellies, the honeys, the things like that. And the ingredients are not the same as what we have.
What are the ingredients?
Well, food.
They actually have food in the product.
It's food. And there's not like high fructose corn syrup. It's sugar instead of, you know, and I know that sugar is sugar. I'm not advocating go out and buy European honey. I'm just saying it was a different quality of food. Do they have shitty food, processed food over there? Of course they do. But for the most part, people are going to their local market. They're shopping. They're making stuff. So this brings me back to the point of being able to find meat and veg, especially meat, is very easy. Meat is everywhere there, and it's really easy to, because they have courses. You can get an antipasti that's just meat and cheese and veg. There's all sorts of variety in there. You just skip the first course and then you get a meat course. They have meat, and it just is meat. They don't try to bring it with a side of potatoes and a side of polenta and a side of rice. You have to order that specifically. So I kind of liked the setup of being able to do that. And then one thing I found really interesting in Rome, in Rome, they're not super into side vegetables, but they're super into bitter greens. So they will saute whatever bitter greens in season, dandelion greens, mustard greens, chard. They had mallow greens, salvia, like all sorts of like crazy bitter greens. And they just saute them with some garlic, some pine nuts, some salt and pepper, olive oil. And they serve a little bit. If you ask for it, you have to ask for it. You have to order it. But that's the side dish. That's the veg that you get. And there are salads, but nobody gets a salad, let's be honest. Which just goes to prove my point that salads are really sad.
Yeah.
I'm sad about salad. So I just want to say, like, their food supply is different. They have different standards over there about food. And I agree with you that people can eat a certain way if they're not metabolically broken. And the fact I brought up keto or low carb with a few Italians, and they just were like, that's crazy. What are you talking about? Like,
yeah,
it's just not in the zeitgeist over there. It's just not. It's easy to do it if you're low carb.
They're not, look, we have close to 50% of the people in this country who are metabolically fucked.
So I did some Googling, and it's 5% in Italy. So in Italy. So,
by the way, you know,
that's my Google science experiment.
It is so much easier to find real milk without carrageenan or gum in it, you know, and cream and everything else.
Right.
In Italy. Now, look, they do it there.
It was harder to find cream. I'll be honest. They love milk. They love.
Right. Well, you go to England, they have cream and double cream. You know,
that would have been nice to find. I missed heavy cream. I missed heavy cream and a big cup of coffee. But other than that,
look,
can't complain.
Who needs double cream when you got their espresso? Oh my God.
It's wonderful.
I was sitting here the whole time you were going through that, just going, oh my God, it's just the best place on the planet.
Oh, we ate like kings. And by the way, we went to this lunch in the middle of nowhere. So friends of mine were like, you need to go stay in this one town in Tuscany. And I was like, okay. So I booked this town and found a place. It's really just a speck on the map.
Yeah.
And then I ran into another friend who said, you should do this tour with this guy. He like takes you around. And I was like, well, Tuscany's like 700 square miles. So we're probably not near your guy, but thank you. And I wrote the guy anyway. And he's from that town, from that tiny little town. So we wound up calling Franco, hey, could you take us around? And he did. And it was great. He took us to this lunch in literally the middle of nowhere. Like, I can't tell you enough how much it was the middle of nowhere, but yet the best food I've ever had. And they went out, and it reminded me a lot of Paul Capelli. They went out and had foraged wild asparagus that morning and then made this pasta dish with this homemade gluten-free tagliatelle for me because they knew I was coming.
Unbelievable.
That I was like, of course, hell yeah, I'm going to eat this. Thank you. It was so gorgeous and so wonderful. And I was shocked when I got home. I thought that I would have gained a ton of weight. I gained 1 pound, which,
and
again,
every time I'm in Italy, it's like, look, I'm
just
Italian.
enjoy it.
I'm Italian on both sides of my family, but man, it's such a special place. when Don and I were over in oh geez, I'm sorry. Hang on, folks.
It's the billionaire Don Connington's Friday 5 o'clock. Stop. Have a good weekend.
For the new people, whenever I talk about this guy, I'm obligated to play that. So sorry. At any rate, we were in Chamonix. We were in the Savoie region of France, getting ready to climb Mont Blanc.
Right.
And I couldn't find, this is Chamonix. This is like one of those tourist destination towns and everyone's there and everything else. Couldn't find a decent cup of coffee. Just couldn't get something I like. There was one little place, this mom and pop place, a little stand that they put together, and they were from England that moved there, but they were only open a couple of hours a day because, hey, it's France and we, you know. And,
I get it.
you know, so we decided to go over to Italy for a day just to climb, well, for 2 days to go climb Gran Paradiso, the highest point in Italy. And as soon as you cross the border, as soon as you,
They're like,
you
here's your
stop-
coffee and
we
here's your
stopped at a-
cigarettes.
We
You're
stopped
like,
at a
whoa.
little roadside place, and that was kind of like that. Someone's grandmother was going, "Oh man, Jaman." And it's like it was just trying to shove food in our mouth, and I could smell coffee. I could smell espresso, and I went, "Can I get an espresso?" I just said, I must have had 6 of them. I just sat there and just kept saying, "Come on, grandma, grandma, come on, keep them coming. Let's not slow down here." But man, was it good?
Quattro espresso.
Oh
I will
God.
say Lucy is now fluent in Italian, so it was a big relief to me to be able to meet up with her in Rome and have her
Nice.
just do the speaking. And I and I realized I'm turning into, you know, like I'm now, when I was there, the immigrant old lady who just smiles and I have no idea what anybody's saying.
Yeah.
I was like, see,
Yeah.
see,
See, yeah.
Lucy's doing all the talking. It was really,
I'm the same way. Serena just communicates, and so
Yeah.
Serena claims she doesn't speak fluent Italian, but she does. And
I
with-
thought I was doing pretty well, but then Lucy came and I was like, oh, thank God. Just
yeah, no,
take it
I
away.
don't even pretend to try. I can't pick up languages. I can barely do English. You know,
Well, I wanted to bring up one final thing
okay.
before we wrap this up, and that is, I have discovered Reddit. I love
Okay.
Reddit. Do you know Reddit?
I know that they have things to say about me.
They probably do. I don't want to look up my name or your name on there, but
Yeah,
I like,
pick up
so I'm
mine.
in these different groups, you know, some of them are like Bravo fan groups, and then others are like Succession, because I love that show. And like I like to watch
How do you have time for that?
I fall asleep at night reading Reddit. I get tired. That's the only thing that calms my brain down, is reading Reddit. However, I'm in a menopause group.
Oh God.
Oh my God, Vinny. It's shocking. You want to be shocked? Join the menopause group on Reddit.
Oh.
But here's what I want to say. Here's the thing that's getting me, is that this is what's reminding me that we still have so much more work to do. We still have so many people to reach. We have so much work to do, because almost every single thread devolves into, why am I having this symptom? I'm doing everything right. I eat a plant-based diet. I don't eat red meat. I want to make sure that I eat heart healthy whole grains. You know what I mean?
I know.
And then they start arguing. Well, they don't argue, because there's only usually one person who's brave, and it's not me. I don't post anything on Reddit, but there's one person who's like, no, you can have red meat. They're like, no, you can't. It will kill you. And that's when I go, oh, we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of people to reach. We have a lot of notions to disabuse people of.
By the way, I'm in a menopause group. I joined the day
Did you
Serena went into menopause. All of a sudden, I was living with 20 different women. So we have our own group here, and
you're the real life Reddit menopause group. I can't jump into that group, but I'm in like a Gen X group. That's fun. It's like, nostalgia, but mostly I'm there. I'm telling you, I fall asleep now to looking at Reddit comments. I don't read books anymore, although I do love Peter Attia's new book, Outlive. Hopefully you
Yeah.
can have him back on soon
yeah, I'll bring him back.
to promote his book.
Yeah, look, I don't, you know,
But I'm serious. It's like people,
I
it's
know,
very prevalent. They think red meat's going to kill them.
I know, and that's never going to go away. I mean, we're trying to unravel
I want to make that go away.
65 we're trying to unravel 65 years of doing one thing. That's
But
not
the
going to
Italians
change
don't think
overnight.
that.
Because they're not idiots. We're Americans. We follow the science on every fucking thing. And guess what, folks? Look around. That's what you want to know what Mike Rowe was talking about? He goes, yeah, Mike Rowe brought up the pandemic. He goes, we got just about everything wrong. Now we know we got everything wrong, but it's the same, he was bringing it up in accordance with diet. He goes, here's how I know we get everything wrong. Look back at the pandemic. Everything they were telling us to do was exactly the wrong thing.
Yeah.
They were killing people with respirators. They, everything,
God.
Shelter in place. Don't go outside. Now we know
Fat lot of good that did us.
Do you know the whole stand 6 feet apart was totally arbitrary? It's just completely arbitrary. They said, oh, let's just tell people.
By the way, that was my favorite part though, because I like not standing near people. People get too close.
I know.
They get too close.
But yeah, I get that.
And being in Rome reminded me of how close people are. They're right
Italians
there.
get real close. They pinch.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Basta.
Did you get any ass pension while you were there?
No, I'm too old for that now.
Yeah, look at you.
Yeah, I've graduated.
But you know what, Anna?
I got a good ass to grab though.
Yeah, but they have respect for you. You see, when you get older, they respect you like a mom.
Don't touch the Nona. I'm not a Nona.
Yeah, you want to bet you are? In their world, you are.
Listen,
the world has passed us
there's
by.
any minute now, Tallulah or Lucy could call either one of us and turn us into grandparents.
Oh yeah. And I'm shocked it hadn't happened yet.
Me too.
Folks, Anna Vocino has all kinds of sauce over there. She's got the arrabbiata, which is my personal favorite.
And it's in stock, the arrabbiata.
The crema is my other favorite. And then you got the puttanesca, you got the, what else you got over there?
The regular marinara and three dusts.
I'm just naming the three that I really love.
Yeah, I know.
And the dust, we were just showing you a thing Serena did with the dust tonight, the barbecue sauce. The barbecue dust is not just for barbecue. It works on so many things. As a matter of fact, I was getting my recipe the other day. They were like, well, if I can't have roasted nuts, I said, look, get your raw nuts, put them on a cookie sheet. You put a little Villa Capelli olive oil, just rub it in there, just get a little coat of olive oil.
Yeah.
I hit it with very fine salt. I go back with Anna's barbecue dust. And then, of course, I hit it with a little cayenne and paprika. I don't know what that does for me, but it does a lot.
I think you should combine barbecue with the dill and do a barbecue ranch nut. I've been doing that on a chicken, roasting a whole chicken coated with olive oil.
I'll try, but I got to play with the ratio. You don't just go around.
I do. You just do half and half.
No, I got to play with it. It's got to be perfect, Anna. So what I'll do is I'll just put it on nuts and not roast them. Just
look who's recipe testing. This is exciting.
Yeah. Look, I know what I'm doing sometimes. So, folks, go check out everything at eathappykitchen.com. When it comes for me, just go to vinnietortorich.com. You can get the PDF. Look, we know that just on Mike Rowe show, maybe upwards of 3 million pounds was lost just on the PDF.
Let's make it 5 million. Let's make it 10 million. Let's do this.
It's a playbook for $10. This tells you exactly what to do.
Yep.
And subsequently what not to do. Just follow everything there and you know what not to do. So go get that. And while you're at vinnietortorich.com, if you got any shopping to do on Amazon, go click through the banner. It puts coal on the fire, gets my train down the track. It's how we keep this show free for all of you.
And I just want to say about this PDF. If you are afraid, if you're listening and you feel like that's you're afraid to eat red meat because of what people have told you, guess what? By the time you're done reading that PDF and implementing NSNG, you're going to be allowed to eat red meat and life is going to feel really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Liberate yourself. It's called the Big Liberator. So go do all of that stuff. Anna and I will do if you folks, if you're hearing this, go back one Friday and we're doing a one-on-one because we're a couple of weeks ahead on this show. As a matter of fact, folks, go back to the Monday before this. You can hear Anna Vocino and Serena Scott Thomas doing the Monday show.
That's
So
right.
I don't even
I got to say, get him back.
Oh, you did that part?
You'll have to listen.
Yeah, I asked Serena. I said,
Yeah,
Serena,
of course I did that part.
I said, Serena, what did you guys?
I'm not
talk
going to
about?
give
She
up
goes,
that. I'm not. No, I know she's your wife. She has not earned the 1,100 hours
She has not. You're
for me
correct.
to say, get him back.
Back.
Although it would sound cool with her accent.
Get him back. So Anna, listen.
Don't do that for her. She doesn't like it when we do that.
No, she doesn't. She was just interviewed for a movie today about
Great.
what it was like being a Bond girl.
Yeah,
Yeah. So they came here, cameras and we had cameras in
that's
the house.
awesome.
Yeah. And I was taking notes. It's like, when I do my documentary, I don't just send people out to, I'm gonna get everybody to come to me. So folks, go check out everything we're doing. Go listen to that show with Anna and Serena from last Monday. This past Friday, Anna and I did the one-on-one. You guys want to hear that? On behalf, and Anna reminded me of a song right at the beginning of the show.
Yeah. Oh, wait, turn off the camera.
Oh, you see, that's why I keep you hanging around.
That's right. Just when you think you can get rid of me.